Acknowledge me.
You just made the list.
I am the BEST.
I'm better than you, and you know it. Damn.
Welcome back to Down Under the Mat podcast here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. To my left, Mr. Daniel Danielson, who's been to a gig for the last 18 months straight, and you can't teach that. And to my right, Reece, who's really rowdy, and you can't teach that. Bada bing, bada boom. I'm the realest guy in the room. How you doing? What the hell was that?
That's fantastic.
That was good?
That was great.
Mate,
All right.
bringing the energy to start.
Down Under the Mat podcast. I'm trying to amp myself up here, ready for this.
It's not like you just sat watching a 3-hour pay-per-view.
Yeah, and I really wasn't amped up at all. That's what I'm trying to amp
All
myself
right,
up.
man.
We are here to talk.
Yeah, man.
We're here to talk.
man. Shucky, ducky, quack, quack.
We're here to talk all things wrestling. And yeah, as you can tell, we just finished watching NXT Battleground, which was held at the UFC headquarters. That was the big
UFC
deal.
Apex,
Apex, yeah.
In Las Vegas.
which is essentially their
Headquarters?
training center,
It's
isn't
a
it?
training center.
Oh,
Yeah.
right, okay. Well, yeah. How do we sum that up, guys? Yeah! All right!
Oh, man.
Shuck a duck and quack quack.
we go straight into Battleground?
Yeah, I think
let's
that's what
go
we're
straight
starting
into
with.
Battleground.
It's nice and fresh in our minds, so why not? But
Look, I think I had some higher expectations for it.
You are the NXT fan of us.
being the bigger NXT fan out
Yeah.
of all three of us, and I don't think it quite lived up to my expectations. But maybe that's because I thought there was going to be some better results that would appease my personal tastes.
Well, I remember the
yeah.
first match, which was before Ted showed up as
Yeah,
well, was that
late as usual.
the winner was announced, and then you just went, oh, fuck that, and just walked straight out of the room. So
well, I had to go to the toilet, but yeah, it was So we'll
The
touch on
first
it
match
now.
was your toilet break match.
No, after it was done, I had to go to the toilet. So,
Oh, okay.
so we'll talk about that first. So we had the women's North American Championship.
before you can talk
ladder
about that,
match.
can we talk about how that Sexy Red was the host of
Yeah.
NXT Battleground?
Give us your
Hey,
impersonation.
everybody, we can have it about Battleground. Yeah, I'm sexy. She was
Can
fucking
I
terrible.
just put it out there?
it's terrible.
Am I supposed to know
Terrible.
who she is? By the way?
No.
Yeah, cool. That's one thing I'm
that's the
getting with
problem.
WWE. Keep doing this where they go somewhere in America and they have, because obviously America's so big compared to Australia, and they have celebrities that are really big in their individual states, but no one else knows who the hell they are. And they're like, oh, this person. And like, I only know who Jelly Roll is from WWE.
Sure,
but I don't
Raw.
even know what he does. Like,
He's a country rapper, singer,
Country
person?
rapper. Yeah.
country's
I
really
mean,
big
look,
now,
Sexy Red, I'm pretty sure is a hip hop artist or something, and like I know that there's the facet of R&B in America that's mumble rap. She's just mumble, because like when she was talking, it was yeah, Lola Vaz. I know I'm putting a big twang on it. She doesn't have that twang,
Yeah,
but like
it was.
I just
I think
couldn't
I get
understand
what
what
you
she was
mean.
saying.
I think between her and Booker T, they really dragged this pay per view down. I'm getting so sick
Yeah.
of Booker T's announcing.
I mean, I love Booker T.
Yeah,
I loved
man.
him when he was a wrestler.
Booker's great. Booker as a commentator
But
is terrible.
You guys had
All
to
right.
sit there and listen to me every 5 seconds. Go, please shut up, Booker.
Yeah, man.
Please shut up.
Yeah,
It
man.
was not.
Oh
good.
yeah, man. Oh yeah. All right.
Oh yeah.
oh yeah, man.
So anyway, the first match.
Yeah, first
North
match.
American Women's Title.
Ladder match. So we
Yeah.
had Fallon Henley, Michin, Jada
Yep.
Parker,
Yep.
Sol Ruka,
Yep.
Kalani Jordan,
Yep.
and Lash Legend. So those were
Yes.
your 6 competitors. And out of all of those, in the lead up, I heard nobody saying that they wanted Kalani Jordan to win, and she won.
Spoiler alert.
And
I don't think it's much of a spoiler. I don't think anyone's
really not.
waiting to watch Battleground. Either
Like,
you
here's the
watched
thing.
it or you didn't.
like leading up, everyone's like, I haven't had much exposure to her, but
Yeah.
everyone was rooting for Sol Ruka. I personally thought it was either going to be Fallon Henley or Lash Legend. I heard
We all agreed that it was not going to be Michin,
Yeah.
unfortunately.
I heard nobody saying, oh, yeah, I think Kalani Jordan's a great pick for this. Like,
Look,
I was actually quite shocked at the decision.
from the little amount of NXT that I've watched recently,
done nothing.
Sol Ruka is probably the best talent. I know she
Yeah.
won their fucking combine or whatever they've
Yeah,
called.
scored highest in the combine.
Sure. The Soul Snatcher.
That's a great
that she
finish.
does, which is like where she jumps off the ropes and then sort of under flips and does a cutter.
yeah, I've seen that.
It's brilliant.
It's great.
And I thought I'm just waiting for her to do this off the top of a ladder.
Like we didn't quite get it off the top of the ladder, but we got it
off
the
a ladder, which was fine.
Yeah.
And I was just waiting for that spot because that was going to be cool. The other highlight spot for this match was the end of Lash Legend because they would always has to she's the big strong one that power slammed Otis.
Yeah.
All the other guys had to get rid of her.
Yeah.
So
And it took all 5 of them to get rid of
she was
her.
on the ladder,
Yep.
and then all 5 of them, 2 of them just grabbed her legs off.
Yep.
And then they were all 5 holding her up in a body press.
Yep.
Everyone. And they just sort of turned her around.
There's a ladder set up between the apron and the announce table as well.
Yep. And they just lobbed her straight over the
Threw
top.
her.
Yeet.
And the ladder did not break.
No.
Like they usually
Yeah, that
do.
doesn't tickle either.
And it looked like it hurt a
It-
lot.
the sound as well. It was just like a really loud crunch, and you could tell that there was not a lot of give in that ladder.
Yeah.
And she would have taken a lot of that.
Do you think that's the main spot from the whole pay-per-view?
I mean, for this match, that was the spot. The
That
2
was good.
soul
The soul snatches?
snatches off
Yeah.
the ladder was cool.
They were great.
I mean, look, to be fair, this was a pretty decent ladder match.
Yeah.
There was lots of this is awesome.
Nothing that we'll be
chants and
talking
stuff.
about for the ages. Like not a when
No.
they crowned the men's North American. It's not a TLC at WrestleMania sort of.
No.
match.
But it was
just like it
good.
was your standard ladder match, and it was good. Great way to kick off the show.
And they had the spot where 2 ladders next to each other and they separate them apart
Yeah.
and people were flying off and,
Yeah.
and Michin bloody guillotined herself on top of the ropes off a ladder and stuff.
Yeah.
Like they had all of the spots they needed to have.
Yeah.
It then just Michin then was on a ladder and Kalani Jordan just hit like a split-legged moonsault, then ran up the ladder and grabbed the title and was done. I was like, oh,
Yeah, it was.
Yeah, right.
that was it.
It was a very quick finish, and yeah, like I did not see her winning.
Yeah, okay.
I thought her and Meechin were the 2 people that I picked. They're definitely not going to win, and then to have one of them
you're
come
right.
out on top, I'm a bit
of a
skeptical about it. But we'll see how it pays off. I assume, like with the story they've been telling for the last few weeks, it's going to be her and Fallon as the first feud
yeah, probably.
for Kalani Jordan as champion.
Yeah.
Because they've been. I don't think that's fully resolved yet. So we'll see what happens in the coming weeks. See if I get interested. In
Well,
that.
the next match was the tag team match, right?
Yes, and again, like
OC versus, what was it, Axiom and...
Nathan Fraser.
Axiom Nathan Fraser against the Good Brothers. Now, we love the Good Brothers. They're great in the ring.
They're underutilized in WWE, let's be fair.
But anytime they get put in a title match, you just know they're not going to win. And that's exactly what happened. They did
Yeah.
not
But they
win.
make whoever they're versing
look really good.
fantastic.
And they did that in this match, I
They
have to
do
say.
elevate talent. And like, not that Axiom and Fraser need much elevation, but putting them in against vets like the Good Brothers, they put on a spectacular showing and came out with a victory.
Yep.
They're always an entertaining tag team to watch, and they're going places for sure.
What was the finish was something into a Phoenix Splash. It looked really sick. I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember what it was leading.
Oh, it's hard for me to remember too because all I can remember is who's the other bloke? Sorry, Axiom, and who's the other
Nathan
one?
Fraser.
Nathan Fraser. He was just flipping around like a champion, but
That's
it
just what
seemed
he
to be a
does.
little bit too repetitive for me. Like he kept doing the same moves over and over. They looked good, really good, but it was just sort of the same thing. So I don't know. For me, it looked good. Like they are definitely an awesome tag team and they're going places, but. I think again, I get a bit hard on
Just a
it
little
because
more variety, you
NXT
think?
obviously, yeah. I think they obviously have a lot less time to work with because you can see in the matches they have to rush
That
through it
was
a
the
bit
thing
more.
that Dan noticed when he watched NXT this week, which I kind of picked up on it in the past. He mentioned it. It's like it's someone with ADHD writing the show.
Yeah.
It's just there's so much
It
going
just
on.
doesn't stop.
And like for someone with ADHD, I do tend to lose focus sometimes and miss things because they do so much so quickly.
Yeah.
You can tell they don't have as much time as up on the main
Yeah, and
card
they
where
just,
they
like,
can,
they try
they
and
can
cram
wait
a lot
between
in.
moves and tell a bit more of a story.
Well, it's
Here,
not
they're
only-
really restricted.
It's that too, but it's also like I was watching the normal NXT show and I'd seen 12 segments and everything was happening and I couldn't remember what had happened at the start of the show. And then I
it was
looked
only
down and it was
halfway
45
through.
minutes in. I was
Yeah.
like, what the hell?
Yeah, a lot happens. A lot
It's
happens.
just, it's
What
a
was
lot.
what was the next match we had after the tag match? Reece, remind me.
Lola
What was-
Vice versus Shayna Baszler in NXT Underground.
That's right. Which
First
for anyone
ever-
who has never seen it before, like myself, was really taken aback because they took all the ropes away and it was pretty much a UFC style fight.
Yeah.
But still, obviously being predetermined.
Yes,
Shall we
in a
say?
fashion.
Was it though? Yeah, it was.
Yeah, it definitely was.
So the NXT Underground they did with Lola Vice and Natty a few weeks back, that was really good.
Did Natalia do one of those matches?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It was actually really good. That was probably one of Natty's
sure it
best
was.
matches in the last couple
Yeah,
of years.
right.
So
I'm gonna have to go check that out and check out your reviewing, Reece.
Yeah.
And see. All right.
well, like Natty doesn't exactly have a high bar of fantastic matches over the last couple of years, so that one.
No, but I also
stands up.
wouldn't really picture her in this underground.
Yeah.
style.
Well, that's the
kind
thing.
of
The feud with her and Lola Vice had been dragging out a couple months, so it was like a blood feud sort of thing. Like they just wanted to.
That's how they
get
finish
over
it
and
down there,
done
do
with.
they? Not Hell in a Cell matches. We go for an underground match instead.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Alright.
So it was, and that was the funny thing with that feud was Shayna Baszler was like being the manager for Lola Vice, and then because Lola Vice is like good at MMA, but then does the whole like hip swivels and
And
arse
twerking
shaking and
and
twerking and stuff. Shayna wasn't about that, and they ended up having a tag team match. It was Natalia and Carmen Petrovic against Shayna and Lola Vice.
Okay.
And Natty and Petrovic won, and then Lola ended up turning on Shay. Like that's how
And
it
that's
led
now
to
it's
this
an
match.
underground
Yeah.
match.
Well, I mean, and that brings me to a point I have about it because obviously Lola got the victory in this match,
Yes, she
right?
did.
Which was probably a bit of a shock. But then when she was backstage later and it was
Yeah.
sexy red and
Yeah.
she celebrated with her by doing a bit of a twerk. And I'm like, I wonder how Shayna feels jobbing out to that. That must be awesome.
Well, I'm sure Shayna sees Lola's potential because she's great in the ring.
100%.
She's got that. She's
yeah.
actually got like proper MMA background.
Yeah, man.
She used to be
All right. Oh, yeah.
used to be in Bellator
man.
MMA.
All right. I'm just going to keep doing Booker T. all
Oh,
night.
dude, I'm going to be traumatized from this.
Yeah, I expected Lola to win, and it was a good
Okay.
match. Like great finish, throwing Shayna into the stairs, getting
Yeah.
back in the ring, doing the back fist, and then hammer fist, and then ref calling the match.
The one where
And
she hit Shayna with the back fist and Shayna just fell out of the ring.
Yeah,
That looked sick. That was,
that was in the lead up
perfectly
to the
done.
finish as well. Yeah, so it was a really good finish, and then they tried to do the angle where Shayna didn't know where she was, and she was trying to tackle the ref. I
Yeah.
thought that
Very,
was a
very
little
UFC of it.
cheesy. I
Yeah.
thought, but overall good match.
And then it was the triple threat after that?
Yeah.
And this is the
Obafemi.
first time I've ever seen Obafemi, man. He's a unit.
Yeah, what's
he's
your
a
thoughts?
unit. He's a unit, and he's really good. I think we'll see him on the main card one day for sure.
Oh, definitely.
He's just huge.
He elevated to that spot very quickly because they had the men's breakout tournament in NXT earlier this year.
And then he was the champion. in like 2
Obafemi
weeks.
won,
Yeah.
and then it was like a week or two later he cashed in and he
yeah.
Yeah.
won the title. So
This match was great. I think we've talked about how NXT are really good at the triple threats, keeping things flowing, and they did the same thing here. And the way that they had Wesley just bump for Obafemi, ridiculous. Wesley,
Crazy.
he's obviously a smaller dude, but like not tiny. The spot where Oba had him on the turnbuckle and then
just like
pressed him
threw him.
and
He
threw him.
Yeah.
threw him on Joe Coffey.
Yeet.
It was
Literally, he
Across
just
the-
yeeted him
across
across
the-
the
But then also Obafemi lifting up Joe Coffey.
Yeah.
Yep.
And just like it was like a flapjack, but just standing forward, and he
Yeah.
just threw him up in the
Yep,
air.
just
There were just
like
so
he
many
weighed
moments,
nothing,
like-
man. And that guy's a unit.
One of the
too.
ones that really sticked out in my head was when Obafemi was in the corner. Joe Coffey was running at him, and Oba just put the leg out and just like kicked him away. But it was sort of like a Joe Coffey like held his position and held onto the leg a bit, so it looked
Yeah.
like he just like lost momentum and then just
then
went
flicked
flying
backwards.
backwards.
Yeah.
It looked really clean and really smooth.
I think
And
this was
absolutely
probably
loved
the
it.
best match of the whole thing that I probably paid the most attention to be honest.
yeah.
Yeah, as soon as they announced the triple threat, I'm like, yeah, this
Yeah.
is going to be one of the great matches.
And obviously
of the night.
Gallus came out to try and interfere,
Yeah.
and Wesley jumped on top of them,
Yeah.
and like that had all the other spots to it.
And then they attacked him.
I think you
backstage
guys kind of missed it,
afterwards,
but
yeah.
they had that shot where it was Joe Coffey and Wesley in the ring, and then the two Gallus boys were on the outside of the ring, and then you could slowly see Obafemi just come up behind them.
Yeah.
Great shot, great shot.
I mean, this match did what it had to do again in making Obafemi look like a beast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like the way he was just throwing them around, the power bombs that he was doing, the ferocity behind them.
Yeah.
Disgusting. And like people on Twitter, like Big E and that, have already come out and said that Oba will go up at someday and be a world champion. I think I saw Corey Graves just tag Nick Aldis and saying, "Hey Nick, can we get someone on SmackDown, please?" Like
Yeah.
they're all about Obafemi and give him time. Like let him
Yeah,
let him
let him-
be
yeah.
dominant
Don't
in
rush it.
NXT for a while.
Don't rush it.
That's the thing. He's so over in NXT as well. Like you see it when he comes out in his music and like his little swagger walk that he's got. when
Yeah.
he, like it properly like hits his music.
Yeah.
And then like everyone's doing the little ooh during the entrance.
Oh, yeah,
but
man.
like anytime he cuts a promo,
Yeah, man.
he'll say a sentence and then pause, and then the whole crowd goes ooh, and then he keeps going, and then it's absolutely
Did he do that
working
before
wonders.
the Wolf Dogs or after the Wolf Dogs?
No, it's not a wolf dog thing. It's a like ooh, like a Wakanda.
Oh,
Oh,
Black
okay.
Panther Wakanda.
Because
okay, right.
obvious reasons, like
It's because he's a very large black man, is what you're
Yeah.
saying. Yes, yeah,
Yeah.
okay, fair enough.
And then the next match with this was the one that I think a lot of people like me was the one that we sort of tuned in for.
Yes,
Jordan
absolutely.
Grace versus, who was it again?
Roxanne Perez.
Roxanne Perez, that's right.
I'll comment on this just slightly before it started. I think both entrances were underwhelming.
Entrances.
Yep.
Yep.
They just the
They
music
just
started, they
entered.
just walked out.
Yeah.
I think if you're having this moment where you have the TNA Knockouts champion on a pay-per-view, regardless of it being an NXT
You do
pay-per-view or
like-
not, it's got to be something.
Yeah.
Like a bit more of a
Like they didn't.
entrance, smoke, fireworks.
Like they didn't even have
nothing.
like that whole like, you know, when they get the shot of people walking in the backstage corridor
Yep.
out,
Yeah.
and then their music hits and that sort of stuff. Like none of that to build the anticipation.
It was just an
like,
entrance.
bang,
Yeah.
music hit. They're
Which
out.
is a little sad for me.
Yeah.
Which-
but I think
yeah.
like once that bell rang, like
This is a good
I
match.
don't think we were
Well,
disappointed.
the biggest thing
at
that we
all,
noticed from the
except
match,
for the finish.
that Reece picked up on straight away. I noticed that
Yeah.
Jordan Grace came down off the turnbuckle and she was bleeding on the side of her face.
Mm-hmm.
And then Reece, eagle-eyed Reece, realized that Jordan's earring was stuck in Roxanne's tights.
Yep.
So-
Had gotten ripped out.
And ripped it out of her ear. So, and they just
And
they
it stayed
continued
in
on
there for a good
nothing.
like 80% of that
Oh,
match
it was.
too.
It was there for a long time.
Yeah.
So yeah, they just got on with it, and they were very good at, like, she didn't pull it out of her tights. She just left it.
left it.
Like, I think they didn't want to draw too much attention to it, and they just got on with it. But
Yeah.
I think we were disappointed in the result. I mean,
Yeah.
it was pretty obvious.
I mean, like
once-
we wanted a bit of a shock,
Yeah.
and like me being a massive Jordan Grace fan for many years, I was hoping that like they'd pull a swerve and have
Yeah.
a walk out double champ.
I think we all were.
Yeah,
But then we had the wrestler that came in. And
so
interfered.
Tatum Paxley, she's a bit obsessed with championship belts at the moment, and we saw a little teaser after Jordan's match on NXT this week. It was
Yep.
a backstage segment, and Tatum Paxley like confronted Jordan and said like, "I love championships," and like went to touch the Knockouts championship. So she comes out, grabbed Jordan's championship, started to go up the entrance ramp, and this is where a surprise appearance from Ash by Elegance, formerly known as Dana Brooke, who we get to see at the end of this month at World Series Wrestling, by the way.
Oh,
in case
she
you
coming
guys
out.
haven't
Yeah,
gotten it.
yeah, nice. Yeah, right.
So she came out, fought off Tatum Paxley. Jordan comes out, grabs the belt, hits both of them with the belt, but that was enough of a distraction. Jordan got back in the ring. Roxanne Perez reversed the Juggernaut driver into a really
It
sweet
was
looking
very,
cutter,
very good reverse.
and then hit the pop rocks.
Yeah.
Got the victory, which
Which
little
then with
disappointing,
that-
but also like
So then with that interference, then does that mean that they're going to appear on TNA?
this is the
against
thing.
Jordan for
This
like
is
a
the
triple
thing.
threat or something,
I'm-
maybe?
I've not watched TNA this past week. I know
have.
you did.
Yep.
Was there any sort of interaction between Jordan and Ash on it?
Yeah, they've been pumping Ash up as the like.
Okay, so this
Top
is
contender type
going to
thing
be
for it.
leading to a feud for that.
I believe so. Yeah.
My question is, I don't know which one of these three women will be the surprise challenger for Jordan Grace, because at Friday for Against
Yep.
All Odds TNA, she's doing an open challenge
Yeah, right.
for the TNA Knockouts Championship. I hope it's not Tatum Paxley, because I feel like that's a little underwhelming.
makes
I don't
Make
think
it
anyone in
obvious,
TNA
yeah.
will know who she is.
No.
Yeah, I think maybe Roxanne, so like she can come in and be like, you came to my house to confront me, now I'm confronting you in your house, sort of thing.
That'd be cool if they did.
Like maybe do that sort of
Yeah.
angle. I don't want it to be Ash. I feel like this is a great opportunity to have like that working relationship expanded a little bit. Like we discussed it on our podcast last week. I'd love for it to be Natty.
Yeah.
That'd be great. Well, great moment for Natty because she wants to get out and start wrestling a
Yeah.
lot of people in different promotions and all that sort of stuff. And her
be
contract's
interesting
coming
to
up,
see.
so I'd love to see these be a little bit of a.
Yeah, maybe.
We'll give you this and see what happens.
And then we moved on to the main event, which was Trick versus Ethan Page for the
All
NXT
ego.
title. And I got to say, unfortunately, Trick's entrance was ruined for me by Booker T, as mentioned previously.
Whoop that trick.
Yeah, baby.
Oh, whoop that trick.
Come on,
Oh,
man.
yeah. Whoop that trick.
I love
Like,
this.
Whoop that trick.
Keep doing it.
That is so bad.
Yeah, just let him whoop the Trick, man.
Well,
Seriously.
like, here's the thing. that was the whole thing that helped get Trick over, I'm pretty sure. But I think the Booker T aspect of it
Now needs to
is
fade
starting
out.
to get a little old.
It just annoys
Just
me.
let
Yeah,
it
it's
be.
annoying.
Let the crowd
Trick
do it.
comes out, let the crowd do it. That's all that needs to happen.
And you boys were saying you were a bit underwhelmed with this match.
Were
you also underwhelmed because Ethan Page got death rebelled?
yeah. Ted was trying to talk, and I was like, hey, hang on.
Be quiet, Ted.
He didn't come out to music. Ethan Page didn't come out to music on Wednesday.
Yeah,
And he did today. So I'm like, hang on. We got to see if he got Depp Rebel. And he did a little bit.
I mean, it wasn't
Not as bad as others.
terrible.
Because it was in the music how it's just like all ego. I
Yeah,
was
'cause
just
you
like,
have to
no, that
announce
threw
who
me
it
off, and I was
is.
like, nah,
That's all
Death
Death Rebel does. You have to announce who the music is for before it starts.
Terrible.
The example. I just hit the mic. Good work, Ted. That's not a good example. But look, Trick
yeah.
got the win and was able to defend
I
the
think
title.
the really disappointing part about that ending sequence. So it ended up coming outside. Trick did a somersault over the barricade to Ethan Page into the crowd. After that, Trick was going to do a suplex to Ethan Page onto the announce table. Page reverses it into a power slam through the table, gets him in the ring, hits a Razor's Edge, doesn't get the 3 count, beats up Trick Williams in the corner for a little bit, gets distracted by the ref telling him to get out of the corner, turns around, trick shot, and that was it.
Trick shot knee,
Yeah.
and then it's finished.
I feel like Ethan was on top for a lot of that match, and for it to have that sort of quick finish
and I also I
was
don't
a little underwhelming.
I don't think the trick shot is enough of a finish
no.
to turn the entire match over in 3 seconds.
No, absolutely not. Especially not after he was dominated for the last few minutes of that match, going through an
Yeah.
announce table and
If he
then
hits
having a
that
Razor's
and
Edge.
then picks him up and then
does something else, or
sure, but
bookend, whatever. But
Even, like-
just hitting that out of the blue and then getting the win.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's just a bit of an anticlimactic ending.
Look,
to
And
that
I'm
match
not,
and the
I'm not going to
pay-per-view.
lie.
Yeah.
If I was someone you were trying to, and I guess I am that person, if you're like, hey, I'll get him to watch this so he watches NXT,
That's not.
I'm
that
not going to
much.
lie. End of that, I look at it and go, oh, I'm not really interested in watching NXT.
Yeah.
I don't want to be rude, but
No, but
yeah,
yeah.
I
And,
don't
like,
know.
that's
I
the
just
thing,
wasn't
it's not for
excited
everyone.
by it. You know,
It's not
Like,
for everyone.
Yeah,
Everyone that likes their own little thing.
it's
is
meant
what
to
it
be
is.
a developmental area, and it is. I think that Trick at the moment is a lot. I think you said like it's Jey Uso of NXT. In that the crowd loves him, his entrance is great, but once he gets in there, he's not that good.
Give him
He
time.
has a
Give him
lot of
time.
improvement to go, but obviously he's only been doing this for a couple of years, and
Yeah.
I think we've said this before.
2022, he debuted.
Yeah,
yeah. Wow.
that Trick's got a long way in front of him, and I think it's fine that he's at the top of the card right now, but they need to develop him. The one point I want to make is that Razor's Edge that he took, fine, but then the 1-2 kick out, he just kicked out. It wasn't a like 2.99. Oh my god, he just
Yeah.
got out. Like there was nothing more to it than it just
Timing wasn't
he
quite
just
right.
kicked out.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
And it
wasn't
didn't
an-
look like anything. And then, like you said, that finish where he hit the knee and then it was 1, 2, 3 done. Like it didn't quite have that oomph and pizzazz of this is the main event. This is the finish of your pay per view.
Yeah.
Just kind of missed that, and that's
Yeah.
the sort of thing that they will get with time.
Yeah.
More practice, they'll get better at it. I think Ethan Page carried Trick through the majority of that match. And I think Trick,
AEW fumbled the ball with Ethan Page for sure.
yeah, and I hope NXT don't.
Yeah.
Give him a bit more chances and stuff. He's probably going to feud with Metaphor or something now, but like,
Yeah.
yeah.
Look, the other thing for me was watching it was all the random promo packages in between that were just
Yeah,
about other
they did
wrestlers
a-
that weren't on the
They
card.
did a lot of them, and they don't usually do that for NXT.
Yeah,
like
it was pretty
pay-per-views.
slow.
So
I mean, maybe they were hoping that people like myself who don't normally watch it would watch, and
Yeah.
they're trying to show, oh, look
Yeah.
at all these other cool
like
people
getting
we've
the
got, you know?
promo package that they showed on NXT on Wednesday for Lexus King and Dante Chen. Like,
Yeah.
there was no need to have that on the
Yeah, that was
pay-per-view.
odd.
Yeah. But
You had that on Wednesday
The
night.
promo package they had for Jordan versus Roxanne was really good.
Yeah.
Quite like that one. But yeah, I agree with you. In terms of being a PLE, there was a lot of filler content.
Yes.
And it wasn't like backstage filler content. It was just like promos. Like, we got a random like top 10 crazy announcer moments
Yeah.
after one of the matches, and it was
The,
kind
the
of like,
best of Pat McAfee is what you're telling me.
like why?
Yeah, literally is what it was.
Like,
It was
why?
all Pat McAfee. Yeah, that was odd.
It was a bit odd. But yeah, that sums up Battleground
There
in
you
Las
go.
Vegas.
If you didn't see it, you didn't miss too much.
No.
Yeah, pretty much.
But speaking of TNA, Jordan Grace.
NXT,
20th anniversary dance.
Still waiting on that
Yes.
shirt.
I did watch that on Thursday for us. So it's the 20th anniversary of TNA Impact, which is pretty crazy. The main thing that I want to talk about this, right, and why it was such an important show is obviously 20th anniversary is crazy, right?
Yeah.
But you look at weekly figures for TV shows.
Yep.
So you look at Raw and SmackDown, they're making 1.5 to 2 million viewers per show, right?
Yeah.
NXT is about 700, 800,000. So is Dynamite. Collision's down at about 350,000 viewers. TNA Impact, 19,000.
Yeah.
It's not a very large number,
No,
right?
not at all.
They are not even in the top, I think, 150 rated cable shows of the week.
Yeah, wow.
For what they are. So
And they've been going for 20 years.
20 years. They also, they don't tape
Mate, they're
live.
still chugging along. Props to them.
Right? They don't tape live or anything. They tape a bunch of shows and then they do
I
it
think
over
it's
the
like
month or whatever.
one session they do 3 weeks of television or something.
The important thing to this and why I watched this show live was that TNA allowed content creators and streamers to stream the entire show. So,
Yeah.
As a content creator ourselves,
Correct.
we would like to thank TNA.
so I watched Santi. So obviously we're big fans of Santi's app. Him and Conman were the two guys
By
I
the
saw.
way, followed us on TikTok.
I know. Hey Santi, how you going?
I'm marking out, man.
They were streaming it, and so normally when you do a reaction show to SmackDown and stuff, it's just the streamer sits there and they talk about what's happening, but they can't show anything.
Yeah, exactly,
This they had the full TNA experience, and we watched this. Santi had 2,000 or 3,000 people. Coleman had 1,000. There's probably plenty of others. You would have gotten a larger audience of people on YouTube and Twitch watching streams of this show,
Yeah,
Rather
than they
than
would
the
have on the
actual
TV.
broadcast.
Yeah,
itself,
exactly.
Which is crazy.
And you're giving the opportunity for people in countries that might not even be able to watch TNA.
And
Because
that's the
as
thing,
long as they
like-
have internet, they have access to YouTube
That's the
majority of the
thing,
time, unless you're China.
We've got Dazen that has TNA, but
It's a week or two behind.
yeah,
Yeah.
we get it delayed, so we can't watch it live every week.
It's a smart move. It's a smart move.
I think it was really, really smart from TNA. The show itself was
Great
fine.
decision.
There was a great match with Jake something on there.
Jake something, he's absolute unit, dude.
Yeah,
And
he
he's
is.
hairy as fuck.
Giselle Shaw came back and she destroyed Shazza McKenzie, who's an Australian.
yeah, I
She-
know, yeah.
Shazza.
Yeah.
She got destroyed.
I saw Giselle Shaw face Deonna Purrazzo for the Knockouts Championship last year.
Yeah.
Impact Down Under.
Oh, that's out in Wagga Wagga.
Wajja wajja.
Yeah.
Giselle Shaw was on a cruise one time too.
Did you attend a cruise? Did you? One of the matches that was a really good match on the show as well was Mustafa Ali and Champagne Singh versus Speedball Mountain, which is Mike Bailey and Trent Seven.
Former tag team partner of Tyler Bate.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah. So
Dude, you're just a wealth of knowledge.
Mustache Mountain, guys.
yeah, it's correct.
They'd be right up your
Reesepedia. I'm
avenue.
going to start calling you Reesepedia.
This was really good. I'm really enjoying this Mustafa Ali character that they're doing in TNA.
Oh, he's doing
the
fantastic.
fact that he comes out with his own Secret Service and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's well booked and it's a really good look. I feel like WWE dropped it with this one. They should have kept him, and they
He
should-
was always a great talent, but they never used him to his full potential.
And Speedball Mike Bailey is just phenomenal in the ring.
Yeah.
He was great. Jordan Grace here had her match against Allysin Kay,
Yep.
which was fine. Then there was a whole bunch of.
I saw what happened with the
backstage
main
stuff.
event afterwards.
Yeah, that's what we'll get to. Laredo
Love it.
Kid lost
Love
the
Digital
What if-
Media
Digital
Championship
Media, that's the
to
one.
AJ Francis,
yes
formerly known as Top Dollar.
top dollar.
Oh, top dollar.
Yep. He's a champion now. I think the Digital Media Championship was a great choice.
Fired?
That was so good. And then the main event was the best wrestle match of the night, quite obviously.
Yep.
It was Nick Nemeth against Frankie Kazarian. And Frankie Kazarian
Wow.
being like a TNA original type
Yeah.
thing. As
Having him in the main event made sense.
It was a really good match. And then when that finished, you then had the system, which is Moose and his guys come out and beat up Nick Nemeth.
Hey, put some respect on Brian Myers' name.
Yeah.
Sure.
Brian Myers.
And
Brian
Eddie
Myers.
Eddie Edwards too.
Yeah, Eddie Edwards. That's
And
a
then
good name.
And I can't
as
remember
the
her name.
beatdown was happening and everyone took spears from Moose,
Yep.
someone must have said his name because then he appeared.
I believe in Joe Hendry.
Did he?
Where's the clap?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought it was just Matt Hardy that came out.
No, Matt Hardy didn't come out. Joe Hendry came out. Conveniently, he waited till everybody was destroyed by Moose.
Delayed
first,
clap for you.
Then came out. He hit some mad fall away slams. Then he got destroyed by Moose.
Yeah.
System stood on top, and then Matt Hardy came up on the TV screen.
Yeah, okay.
And he was like, "Woo, spooky Matt Hardy!
ah.
I'll see you at the Hardy compound next week." So
Hardy
they got-
Compound.
doing
Dude,
Hardy
that's going to be
Compound.
sick.
Yeah.
I loved when they did that. Like, how many years ago was that? Like 9 or something? The first ever like Hardy
Oh,
Compound
Jeff
thing?
and
Yeah.
Matt doing that filmed one.
Oh, dude,
Yeah.
it was crazy.
Yeah.
And they've
That
done it
was
in
that-
AEW a few
That
times.
really set the benchmark for people to
Filmed matches.
do filmed matches during the COVID pandemic.
Yeah, agreed.
because
Pre-filmed,
people
yeah.
were talking about that. They weren't necessarily saying great things about it when it first came out.
But it was different,
But people
yeah.
were talking about it, and it got
Yeah.
eyes on the product.
But yeah, in terms of the overall show, it was fun. There was some really good wrestling, and I think the TNA knows their niche of what
Yeah.
they're doing.
Yeah.
But just massive props to them to allow like the streamers and the content creators to use it because I think that it allowed me to watch it.
Yeah.
And I normally wouldn't have been able to see TNA live. So just massive.
Did you watch
props
it with
to them.
Santi?
I did.
That's awesome.
Watched it on Santi's
Of course
stream.
you did,
Is that
because
why
he
you followed
follows
us?
us. So we're just,
Is that why he followed us? No, it was before that he followed us.
He followed us before that because he loves our TikToks, which you should go look at TikToks on our little thing down the bottom here.
And if you don't know who Santi is, you should go check him out. Love Santi.
Yeah, do that.
So
Santi's
before
a
we
legend.
get into, we want to finish off the podcast by talking about Clash of the Castle and talk about predictions. But before we get there, there's just a couple of things I want to talk about because it's probably the big stuff that most people are talking about in wrestling at the moment. And it's a couple of people we might be seeing a bit of a switcheroo in both directions between AEW and WWE. So first of all, it was reported as rumors that WWE are interested in Penta from AEW. And it came out that he has trademarked, or he's moved to trademark his name.
Moved to trademark his name,
Which is a pretty big clue that someone might be moving to WWE.
Like a huge clue that he's
a lot of
looking to
people
move
have
away
done
from
that now.
AEW.
Yeah. Because obviously a lot of people do that now before they go into WWE because they've seen what happens, in the past. If you don't have rights to your name, they will get rights to your name and then you leave and you can't even use your own last name. So... he knows what I'm talking
That was
about.
a Cody Runnels
That was
story,
Cody.
wasn't it?
That was Cody. What do you guys think if Penta comes to WWE? What do you think about that?
I think I'll let
Yeah,
Dan
Reece.
take the lead on
Oh,
this.
you want me to go first?
Yeah.
I think it'd be great. I'd like to see it, but I don't think Penta could be Penta in WWE the way that he is Penta in AEW.
Yeah.
The amount of spots that he does. He had a match on Rampage against somebody this week. He wrestles obviously on Dynamite, Collision, everywhere. Like they're just like, we need a good match for someone. Here you go, Penta. You go do it.
Damn.
But the amount of like pile drivers and flips and ridiculous like Canadian destroyer on the apron spots, he's not going to do that in WWE.
Yeah.
But maybe is that why he's going? Because he's getting older and he's like, in my older years, at the end of my end of my wrestling career, I want to tone it down a bit.
Maybe, but I feel like that takes away
Like he
what
can still
Penta is.
like put on a great match. And like I was of the opinion like, hell yeah, this would be great. And until Dan mentioned that, I was like, oh, that might sour it a little bit. But he's still like, even if you tone back, because like we have trashed the fact that they do Canadian destroyers as transition moves.
Yes.
So we're going to see less of that on WWE, which will make us happy.
When you
so
do
it
see
might
one
be
that's-
beneficial in the long term to see those moves used less as transitional and more as impactful moves. Like
I also
they should be.
would be worried that if he comes across because he's a
just
Mexican
gonna go
wrestler.
LWO.
That was
Correct.
exactly. I was going
Yeah.
to say that was
Or
exactly
Legado del
my next.
Fantasma. That's the
That was
thing.
exactly my next question because obviously there's that meme going around, which is quite funny, of Triple H's plans for Penta, and it's literally two roads, and you've got Phantasma and you've got LWO.
Yeah.
And I have to say the same thing. It's kind of like he comes in, and the obvious thing is, he goes and fights with the Latinos, but there's another part of it that goes, that seems to get a bit much now because they're all getting grouped together.
Yeah.
Like it's. Yeah, I don't know.
It's a little on the nose.
There's got to be more you could do with him, surely.
I think he should come in as a solo guy, but then also like you're spitting him from Phoenix and stuff. You're getting rid of the Lucha Bros. Yeah. Until maybe that happens, who knows? Maybe the other one comes across. Then we've got a tag team too.
Him and Dragon Lee.
I agree with you, Ted, that you keep them away from stereotyping the feud.
Yeah.
Let him feud with Gunther. Let him feud with Jey Uso. Let him feud with if that's what you want to do, put him like somewhere else.
Yeah.
So that it's not that stereotypical first feud.
Yeah.
But my hesitation to Penta coming to WWE would be that he would then be restricted from what he currently does in the ring.
Yeah. No, he
Which
will
is
be.
the opposite story that we would say about this next person.
Yes.
Well, that's the thing. I mean, maybe is this person looking to leave because he knows that Penta's coming in and he might not be the high flyer that's used as much anymore. And obviously we're talking about Rick O'Shea, the Irishman, Rick O'Shea. No, Ricochet.
That's
yeah,
the
so it's
most
been
terrible rotting joke on this podcast.
It really is. So it's been reported that Ricochet is looking to leave WWE in the summer, and we mean in the summer as in American summer, so very soon.
Correct.
I mean, look, it's interesting. There's rumors that AEW are going to look to pick him up.
I would not be surprised if that happens one iota because him and Will Ospreay have history.
And they have some great
They
matches.
have some great matches. So I would not be surprised to see Ricochet go to AEW first feud.
But my question for
Will
you,
Ospreay.
Reece, would be: do you think? Because I agree with you, they would have a fantastic match. But will Ricochet go in and, like everyone else, he's going to go in, he's going to wrestle Will Ospreay. They're going to have a 8.5-star match. and then that's going to be it.
Yeah. No, not, that's
And then
the
Ricochet will
exact thing
disappear
that's
to the
going
lower
happen.
mid card that they have.
That's exactly what's happened with so many other talents. Like, you've only just been seeing a strong run from the House of Black recently. And they've
Jay
been there
White?
for years. Jay White's fumbling around in a freaking Bullet Club Gold group. Like, he's an excellent
They've got so
singles
many
competitor.
great wrestlers there already, and like, and this is the thing.
He's just going to
I'm
get
not
lost in the
sure
fold after that initial impact.
I'm not sure
Oh my God,
why-
Ricochet's here.
because if he's worried about, because I know obviously he's mid card at WWE.
Yeah, he's
right?
never-
and
he's never gonna be main
going to
event
get out of that.
He's the former Speed champion.
He's
Inaugural
former
Speed,
Speed
champion.
Yes, which he lost to Andrade.
Wait.
Um,
We can't mention that unless we put it on X, right?
Oh, we'll do a tweet for sure. Okay.
We'll have to do a tweet. But yeah, if he thinks that he's going to go to the top of the card, which he probably will, and as I said, he'll wrestle Will Ospreay once or twice, and that'll be it. He's going to disappear.
Look,
like
I think-
they're going to have nothing for him.
It's if he wants more creative freedom and he wants to be able to like get on TV more and have more banger matches and have more like meaningful feuds for him, this is the best move for him.
Oh,
true.
he'll
Absolutely.
go so well on Rampage.
Yes, correct.
I mean, look, he does suit the style, right? He's great in the
And
ring.
that's the thing,
His
like
promos aren't
that's the
fantastic,
AEW
but he's great in
product
the
right
ring.
now, and Ricochet is going to be an excellent asset to their product that they're doing right now, and he's just not that for WWE.
So I'll counter argument all this stuff.
Oh, here we go.
I think he'd be stupid to leave. So my first point is that he has a very marquee spot in WWE of being the highlight of the night. He is, hey, we need some flippy stuff and some crazy things for people to watch on Raw. We
He's
need
your man.
Ricochet, right? It's him.
Yeah.
He's in a triple way feud at the moment with Ilya and Bron Breakker.
Yeah.
On primetime Monday Night Raw, he's getting TV time every week. I think he'd be silly to leave that. The second point, and a point that a lot of people have brought up, and I was listening to the Busted Open podcast with Bully Ray, and that we're talking about it. The big part here is Samantha Irvin.
Yeah,
His
If she
fiance,
leaves, man, I'm done.
right?
that's why everyone's saying like if Ricochet goes, that could open the door for Samantha to leave.
For Ricochet to right now, his fiance, they obviously work together on Monday nights. They travel together.
Yeah.
Everything is fine, right? Because you've got your fiance, and that's what you should be focusing on, right? Yep. If he goes somewhere else, so let's say he goes to AEW,
Screws everything up for him.
she then has to travel to El Paso, Texas on a Monday night to do Monday Night Raw, and he's in Seattle, Washington,
Yeah.
because he has to do AEW Dynamite on Wednesday, and then he has to go to Rampage on a Friday.
never gonna see
and
each
Sam
other.
has to go to Saturday for the Raw house show circuit, so she has Saturday and Sunday somewhere.
They're never going to see each other.
That is a huge sacrifice in terms of a relationship
Yeah.
that you would have. Sure, if it makes sense, and Tony Khan and Will Ospreay's been in Tony Khan's ear saying, "Hey, I want my mate Ricochet to come over, pay him $5 million," and WWE's like, "Look, we'll give you $1 million," and AEW's 5 times more than that. Okay, this might be worth it. But if WWE is saying, "We'll give you a $2 million contract," and Tony Khan's like, "Well, I'll give you $2.5 million," that is not worth leaving.
Yeah.
Not worth the stress that you would put on that relationship with Sam. I'm sure they're probably super happy together, but like I just couldn't imagine the
Long
complete
distance
But that would
travel.
put stress on
people.
any relationship.
Yeah,
of
exactly.
course.
Like any relationship, no matter how strong that relationship might be.
So unless
Not
he's
seeing
getting
each other and
sold-
being apart for
Yeah.
long distances of time.
Yeah, and unless he's being sold on a title shot, a main event type spot, and millions of dollars more, I don't think it's worth it.
No, I agree with you. I don't think it's a
Fair
great
point.
move.
Fair
but,
point.
You know, he and to me, he definitely seems like he's become a WWE wrestler. Like he's a quintessential WWE wrestler. I'm sure he obviously can do more than what he does there and has done in the past. But I don't know, man. Is it as you said? Is it worth it for the relationship? Is it worth it? I don't know.
It could.
I don't
This could also just be his bargaining chip. Like we said this with
Yeah.
Becky the other week, that she went to a free agency so she could just test the water, see what's there. Is this Ricochet just being like, oh, maybe they want me, and then goes to Triple H and say, look, let's say after summer, Drew or Gunther or whatever's the champion, I want a feud. And you throw Ricochet into a couple months with Drew McIntyre where he just gets thrown around and puts on some sick matches and he has a chance at a title. Maybe this is his leveraging chip to just say, hey, book me better.
But I think now that you've got TKO involved, I think we've seen it already. Like they're going to be the type to go, mate, you're a mid card wrestler.
Yeah.
We're not going to fight for you. Like if you want to go get money at AEW, see you later. And we've already seen that from Triple H with the way he's saying too. Like if we have people that want to go for more money to work a smaller schedule without doing the extracurricular stuff, this is not the place for you.
Yeah.
So they're very much of, and I know Ricochet's been there for a long time, and they have a thing about, obviously, they're probably friendly, but I don't think they're going to stick their neck out to keep him, to be completely honest. I think they're the type of place now where if someone says I'm going to go, they will let you try and call their bluff because they're not going to get you. They're not going to be taking hook, line, and sinker. Yeah. You know what I mean?
I can see that.
So it's a shame because I love seeing Ricochet in the matches when he's in. How are they going to have a ladder match now without Ricochet there? I don't know. Penta might have. If they get Penta, that might be the replacement.
Do you guys remember when Ricochet got the world title shot against Brock Lesnar?
And he's got absolutely destroyed in Saudi.
Yes. And I remember the Brock got him up for a super power bomb, and just the way he flung him, not even gently lobbed him down, just flung him into the mat and destroyed him. It was just.
I remember the sound it made.
Yeah.
It ricochets through my skull.
Well done, Ted.
I'm a funny man.
Well,
all right,
good work,
buddy.
We'll finish off with the predictions for Clash of the Castle. Yeah. Clash of the Castle coming up on Sunday. It's at 4 a.m. Australian time. Awesome. We will not be watching it live.
Nope, we will not.
Because you boys will be coming back from Sydney after watching PWA.
Yep.
So if you're going to PWA in Sydney, check out for Rowdy
Look for my
and
ugly
Mr.
mug
Daniel
because
Dennison.
apparently it stands out in the crowd.
No, if you wear a beanie, you can't wear the beanie. Because otherwise you won't be spotted.
He'll wear the
Yeah,
double hat.
actually take a couple of hats.
We only have one.
Oh, we have one hat.
We have one hat.
One spare hat.
One spare.
We have
We can ask
we have a spare
Kingsley if
hat.
we can have the hat back from her.
No.
I'm sure she's still got it.
No, she gets to keep that hat. So predictions for the Clash of the Castle. The only matches we've had announced so far, we've got 5 matches so far.
So they'll add one.
I'd say that's a fine card.
They'll
Right
put
there.
one more on the pre-show, I reckon.
Yeah, probably
More than
pre-show.
likely. I guess we'll
Yeah.
find out what happens on Raw and SmackDown this week, right? So obviously we've got the title match, which is probably going to be the main event, so we'll leave that till last. But the other matches we've got Bianca Belair and Jade Cargill against Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, and Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark in a triple threat tag team match for the WWE Women's Tag Team
I think we all know who's
Championships.
winning that. Let's
Yeah,
be
we
real.
do.
Yep. No, it's
Oh, is it the other way? Did I do it wrong?
It's the other way around.
I'll just reverse it.
Absolutely, it's that. Was it SmackDown where they had them in a match
versus Indian Candace.
versus Indian Candace, and then all the other
Where both
four,
teams-
they all showed up.
I thought they'd make it a 4-way because Indian Candace had a match, but it got interrupted because of these
Maybe
two
it becomes
teams,
a
so why
four-way.
not throw them in the
Maybe it
mix?
becomes a 4, who knows?
Because Alba Fire and Isla Dawn, at least one of them's Scottish,
Scottish.
right? Or are they both?
I think they're both Scottish.
they're both Scottish, so they're both definitely from the UK. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, but don't say that to a Scotsman. That was one thing I found funny when they were playing that promo before about Drew, when
Yeah.
they said because they were talking about Clash of the Castle last year, where he went to Wales and from the UK.
Hey, sorry, what? Last year?
Was it last year or year before?
2 years ago.
Sorry, year before. When they say if you don't say to a
This guy.
Scottish person they're from the UK. Just
Okay,
trust me.
they're from Scotland.
Otherwise, you will get a Glasgow kiss, and you know what a Glasgow kiss is,
It's a
right?
headbutt.
Yes.
Yeah, Drew does
they
that
are
all the
from
time, yeah.
Scotland. They are not from the UK.
They're from Scotland.
So don't say to a Scotsman they're from the UK. So we assume that they're going to
It's
defend,
not worth
right?
talking about.
It is. Are you saying Scotland's not worth talking
No, I
about?
was just going to say, why did Drew call himself the first ever British champion if Scotland don't
Because
like being...
WWE forced him to do it, and I trust me. Inside, he would have been burning and being like, "I'm going to get disowned from my own country for saying that."
Maybe you should just burn it
I don't
down.
think
So-
it's a big deal.
Bianca, because you're not Scottish.
I'm
Of
part
course, you
Scottish,
don't think it's a
alright?
big deal.
Yeah.
Jeez.
Rowdy. Rowdy
Bianca
from
Belair and
Scotland.
Jade are going to.
They're
No,
going
they're
to
going to
defend,
defend,
right?
right?
They're gonna
Clean
defend.
house, mate.
I think that was what I thought why I brought up the SmackDown match was that they got beat up a little bit,
Yeah.
and then
But
there
then
was
they came
a bit
back.
too much other stuff, and then they ended up just destroying everybody at the end.
Yeah.
That's what they have to do.
Yeah.
You can have all the other 4 women, take the 2 of them out at the start of the match, then have whatever you want.
Yeah.
And then you just have Bianca and Jay come in,
Just destroy.
and powerbomb everybody else.
At a couple of points, I reckon they will make it look like Alba Fire and Isla Dawn are going to win because it's their
They've got to give the
hometown.
pop. Yeah.
Yeah.
There will be a couple of close finishes for them.
And
but
you know why
end
Zoe
of the
Stark's there? To
take the pin.
To eat the pin.
Yeah.
More
what
than
she's there
likely.
for.
Yeah.
More than likely.
So
It's
Jade
gonna be
Bianca all the way.
Jaded will be the finish on Zoe Stark.
All right. Calling it now, mate.
That's it. That's the finish.
called
Dan's
it.
calling it now.
All right. Well, what about Cody versus AJ, which has only just been announced this last SmackDown gone?
Mate.
And Cody decided that, well,
gonna
if
be
you're not going to
great.
quit for real, let's make it an I Quit match.
I like the stipulation.
Yeah.
I like the way they
think it's
built
great.
up to this. Actually, I know it's a bit cheesy, but I was like, that's actually kind of clever.
Yeah.
So an I Quit match, which will be interesting.
Mark Henry's a free agent from AEW. Do you reckon he comes back and manages AJ Styles in a pastel suit?
No.
Do you think this will be where Arn Anderson potentially turns up for the first time?
Well, he mentioned on social media this week, if people want him in WWE, all they have to do is make noise.
Okay.
Okay.
All they have to do is
I'm
make noise
making
for
some
him.
noise. Get over there.
Now, I think this is probably one of the harder ones to predict.
Absolutely not.
Because
Cody's
obviously,
winning for sure.
AJ and Cody... No, but AJ and Cody have wrestled once before now, obviously.
5-star match.
Cody got the win.
Thanks, Uncle Dave.
And usually, we've seen it, because he did the same thing with Brock. Usually
called
it goes
this.
for 3 matches. If it does go to 3 matches, this will be match number 2. And if Cody wins, that'll make the third one a dead rubber. So, does AJ get a win here?
Absolutely.
No.
No?
Absolutely not. No way. No way does Cody lose the title.
Okay.
What have we got after this? Money in the Bank?
Yep.
And then we've got
SummerSlam.
then SummerSlam, then Bash in Berlin.
Yep.
And so SummerSlam we know is the... Oh, no, it's Gunther's on the other side, isn't it?
Yes.
Do we go for Randy for SummerSlam?
Randy versus Cody.
Yeah. Because, I mean, he's injured now. I agree with you that they normally do Cody does his normal series of matches. I don't see, if you're having this as an I Quit match, I can't see how you go to a third.
Yeah.
Unless there
you
is...
can't make this a 3 series. If AJ says I quit, unless he like brutally attacks Cody Rhodes again, there's no way he's getting.
Or there's some
What if-
extenuating circumstances as to why he says he quits.
Yeah.
What if, for example, this match goes to a point where both of them just knock each other out and we literally get a double count out because neither of them can actually
not
say,
AEW, mate. What are
I
we doing?
quit, and they go to a third
well,
match.
like-
Hang on, and they go to a third match, SummerSlam, and it's title versus career, and AJ actually does retire.
I could see that. I don't think he will, but
Do we want AJ to retire?
No.
Yeah.
I mean, the card's getting pretty stacked, dude, so I wouldn't be shocked if he maybe is starting to look at, maybe I need to look at stepping away. Because it's getting pretty stacked, and at some point he will
Yeah,
be
but
pushed
he's
down
one of
the
those
card.
people that make the card stacked.
maybe he
Yeah,
just
of
wants
course.
to be a phenomenal father.
That,
might
was,
do.
that was a great line.
It was.
It
It was
was.
a great line.
Okay, so you think Cody?
Yeah,
Cody
Cody.
wins.
Yep.
I
I
think
kind of like your idea of it being like a double knockout or something. Like, because
Well, they just- they
we
just be a
don't really
brutal
see
match.
that.
Yeah.
Like, if the ref has to call it off and it goes to a third match, I'd be happy with
the
that.
problem you have
Just
with
the way they
booking
do
too,
it. That's
right?
If they're knocked out, that makes sense.
Yeah.
If
Like,
it's
they've
like
gotta
that,
do it right
If
if
it's
they're
like that
going
Hell
to.
in a Cell situation with
Yeah.
the Fiend that time, where it's like, hang on, this is no disqualification. How did you like
Call the
nothing
match off.
like
Yeah,
that?
that was
But if
dumb.
it's literally just they actually fall off something and both of them get knocked out and they can't say I quit and the ref has to go, well, that's it. It's
Like,
over.
What if the ref does a 10 count? Like, because they're both
Yeah.
down, they're both not moving. Like, something.
I think the problem with the
It's-
booking
I think
for
it's a good
this
idea.
is that Cody is a face, right?
Yeah.
And the way that Cody was on SmackDown was he was like chomping at the bit. He was so
Yeah.
angry. He was ready for AJ to come in. He was all mad about stuff, right?
Yeah, meme face on.
He did have his meme face on. The premise of an I Quit match is that normally it's the heel that will win because the heel makes the babyface quit for whatever reason.
Because they're going to do something really stuffed up.
Correct.
Yeah.
And so-
a sledgehammer to the head or something like
Yeah,
that.
and so I was thinking that maybe the way that you get AJ to quit is that like Cody does something to the Good Brothers or Michin or someone who's there that makes AJ quit on
They
their
get a heel
behalf.
turn.
But like you can't because Cody's just uber babyface. Like he's
Yeah.
too over. So for him to go to that level,
Yeah.
how do you put that in the storyline?
Well, that's why I think it maybe would, because he's like AJ's pushing Cody to the limit, right?
Yep.
So the Cody wants just to take him out. So I'm thinking of something of like he takes him off of something high and they both land and they both just get knocked out, because it still keeps Cody as a babyface because all he was trying to do was do a big move to take AJ out, and it's not necessarily a heelish style move. Like he's not trying to hit him with a chair or something like that, but like it's, an Uranagi or something off something high.
Off
and they
a
both
castle.
get knocked out. Yeah, off the castle. Off the top of the castle. So that's my prediction. I'm honest. I think it's going to be like a double count out or something along those lines, and they're
Yeah.
going to go for a third match, because considering it's the first 5-star match they've had outside of North American WWE shows in a long time, I reckon they're going to try and milk that for all it's worth, and then go to SummerSlam, and it'll be a
Yeah, I could see it.
retirement match for AJ. I reckon that's my prediction.
I think Cody wins. I don't think I'm overly pleased with how it happens though. I think that's
okay.
my worry.
That's
with
typical
this.
Dan, though.
Yeah.
Are you going to stick with Cody for the win
Oh,
as well?
absolutely.
Yep.
Absolutely.
All right. And then we get to the one where I think this is going to be probably the only one. I'm probably giving away my other predictions. This is one I think you guys might agree where title will change hands. We got Sami Zayn defending against
Chatty
Chatty
Daddy.
Daddy.
It's Chatty's time.
Well,
It's
Chatty's
time.
contract is up. He's finished.
Well, this is where it's interesting, because you've already mentioned, I think, the reason why we think Chad's going to win, because the next pay-per-view is Money in the Bank which is in Montreal. Yeah. And obviously, why would an Intercontinental title holder win Money in the Bank?
Because he won't be by that time.
Correct.
Yeah.
But what do you think there's going to be anything with Alpha Academy at ringside?
Yes.
In terms of what happens with Chad?
Yeah, it's going to be Otis related. I popped on Raw when Tozawa got in Chad's face. I was like, yes, our boy Tozawa, here we go. And then he backed down. That was underwhelming.
I love the fact that the way that Chad, when Otis got him the win or whatever, and then Chad was at the back and was like, you did it. You're my number one guy. And Otis totally didn't mean to do it. At all.
No.
So I love the way that Chad, blind heel, kind of like leading into that sort of stuff. I think that you're going to have the Alpha Academy probably at ringside. I think that Maxine leaves first. I think Tozawa goes with her. And I think Otis is then, does he go? Does he stay? Does he go? Does he say he doesn't know what to do? And then he'll go in the ring to cost Chad.
Yeah.
And opposite to what happened in the last match, Chad will duck and he will flatten Sammy. And then Chad will win.
Okay, that makes sense.
And Otis will have cost him the win. And then he will
didn't
say
mean
that
to.
you're my number one guy. But then Otis will then eventually snap and turn around and be like, no, I didn't do it for you. It was an accident.
Yeah.
I don't want you the champion. And that's the big turn for him. Because
and that'll be the next feud. Will be Chad versus Otis. For the
think pre-pandemic,
Intercontinental.
man. How over was Otis with all that Mandy Rose stuff?
He
He was
was
massive.
so over,
Yeah.
but he was not over enough to get that Money in the Bank briefcase like he did.
No,
No.
but the problem was he was over because of a crowd.
Yes.
The crowd
And the
loved
crowd
Otis.
went.
Dude,
when
I
the
was-
pandemic was gone, there
I was there at the Royal Rumble when he rolled out from under the ring
Yeah.
and saved Mandy, and I tell you what, the crowd went bananas.
Absolutely.
Like, they went nuts. They loved it.
this crowd
Absolutely loved
wants
it.
that Otis turn. They really want it
Yeah.
right now. So I think agree with you in that. I mean, I said Sammy for Money in the Bank 6 months ago. As
Yeah.
soon as we found out I was in Montreal, Sammy.
He's on a high at the moment. I think this is the year for him to get that Money in the Bank. And
He
especially
got
'cause it's
that
in
Mania
Montreal.
victory. He got the title off Gunther, beat that streak. This is the next step.
Chad contract is expired. I think that he's extending, and I
Yeah.
think that maybe part of his contract stuff was we want to put you in a long-term IC title reign. And I think heel Chad,
Yeah.
as much as we all loved Alpha Academy months ago, this
is
heel Chad
better.
is
Oh, brilliant.
This is
Chef's
better.
And I can tell you now, this is going to be a challenger at Montreal Money in the Bank. If Sammy's in that match, it's going to challenge that Lyon crowd and Puerto Rico for in terms of noise and interaction. I don't think they'll quite get to the Lyon level because that's huge, like camera shaking level, but it's going to be up there.
crazy.
All right, and that gets us to Bailey defending her women's title against Piper Niven. I think this is a pretty
Piper
obvious
Niven.
result.
Yeah,
Right?
yeah.
Piper's probably going to dominate for a lot of the match,
Yep.
really take
Bailey
Bailey
could
to
get
the
to come
to the
behind.
line.
Big victory.
Yep.
Yeah.
Pretty obvious. Like roll up of some kind, more than likely.
Sleeper hold.
Chelsea's going to be doing some stuff on the
Because
outside.
back in
annoying.
NXT, Bailey ended up beating Nia Jax with a sleeper hold at some point to get
Okay, I
the
can see that.
the upper hand over a bigger opponent. So I could feel like them.
Well, this
repeating
is the
that sort of thing.
precursor, right? So exactly what you're saying, right? Is that Nia's the Queen of the Ring, so she has the SummerSlam match.
Yep.
So it's going to be Bailey Nia. Yep. This is the how does that look with Piper? So he'll work to the Nia match. Obviously, Piper in Scotland. I'm super impressed with Piper's promo on SmackDown.
Yeah,
it was the
she's
best
fantastic.
promo she's done, and I think her and Chelsea as characters are really great, and I think it gives.
Piper Niven is so underrated.
Absolutely.
She
Yeah,
really
the fact
is.
that-
That
Always
match
has
she
been.
had with Jade.
Always has been.
She
Man.
showed
Always
her
has been.
skills, man.
The fact
Seriously.
that he who should not be named wouldn't allow her to talk because he thought no one could
ridiculous.
understand her accent.
And called her dewdrop of all things. Like,
Like
seriously.
that was terrible booking for her. But I also feel like Bailey hasn't had a lot. Bailey is that baby face that is so great in the chase. That you all want to see her finally get there, and then she wins. Like, yes, that's the greatest moment. And then we're all over it really fast.
Yep. And it's really unfortunate that that's happening because Bailey is fantastic in the ring. And there's
Correct.
not been anything post WrestleMania to get us super invested
And
in
I
this
think
title.
this
run.
is what it will be because Chelsea can be a shit stirring little heel, and
Yeah.
Piper is a monster.
Yes.
This will actually get all the fans back on Bailey's side.
Yes.
Because we'll all want to see her win.
Chelsea grabbing her hair through the ropes.
Yep.
Rubbing her face. Like, it'll be. I'm looking forward to this one, actually. I really want to see Piper just shine in this match.
Absolutely.
I really do,
She will,
especially in front
she
of her
will.
home crowd. And then we get to the main event. Damian Priest.
Suspected main event.
Defending his. Well, we suspect it will be.
Mate,
Defending his title.
Cody and AJ and I Quit match.
Dude, we
How
watched-
could that not be a main event?
We watched 3 promo packages of Drew McIntyre for NXT Battleground.
Yeah,
It's,
good on
it's
him.
true.
It's true in his actual home country, man.
Good on him.
Against Drew McIntyre, Damien Priest, Drew McIntyre for the World Heavyweight Championship. What are our predictions?
Oh, I think we all know what the prediction is.
Well, do we?
Well, hang on. Let's you first, Dan, because I think Reece is pretty obvious as what he wants to pick.
So which side are you going on?
I'm going the side of Drew gets cost the victory by
Okay,
Punk.
all right, so
and
I'll
that
go-
leads
I'll
to
do-
your SummerSlam match.
I'll go the opposite side. So this
Okay.
was I was watching the Wrestle Talk boys. Shout out to them for their Clash of the Castle preview in 3 words or less.
Yep.
Great videos. Ollie Davis put this idea in my head, and I now kind of really enjoy this. SummerSlam is Gunther versus the champion, right? I don't really care about Gunther versus Damian Priest. I don't think that's the match that we're going to book. Gunther versus Drew McIntyre for a world title at SummerSlam, I could definitely see happening. So I think that maybe, and then also the fact that we've said that Alba Fire is going to lose, Piper Niven is going to lose. Do you book a third Scott to lose in the one pay-per-view in their home country? Maybe.
Yes,
Possibly.
and I'll tell you why in a minute.
I'm going to back Drew to win this.
Oh, don't tell me you're one of those conspiracy theorists about that post about the matches being advertised
What?
for Damian Priest still being champion.
Oh, I did say that.
No,
but
I
that's
didn't
not
see that at all. That's not that.
Good.
That's definitely not why. At
The
all.
plot story that I see here is we know that CM Punk has to get involved. At some point, too much of
For
Drew's
sure.
storyline is around CM Punk.
Yeah.
But it's hot, man. It's hot.
So I think on Raw, CM Punk comes out and they have a tussle between the two of them. And then Punk says,
I'll see you in Scotland.
I'll see you in Scotland.
Yep.
And I was there on commentary for Drew, Priest, not for Drew and Seth.
At WrestleMania.
Yep, at WrestleMania. So I'm going to be on commentary for you and Damien. So you have Punk on the commentary desk. So that way you've got maybe do the whole 3-person booth for the whole thing. Punk's there the whole time. You have the match. Whatever happens, Drew wins.
Yep.
And then Drew does the iconic blow the kiss and hold the title to CM Punk
As he
and
leaves
leave
through
through
the
the
crowd.
crowd. The same way
like
that
the idea.
CM Punk did that to John Cena, to
That
He Who Shall Not Be Named,
Yeah.
at Money in the Bank in
that would be so
Chicago.
It's good.
I can picture it in my head, and I'm just
Yeah.
like, the crowd reaction would
Yeah.
be
And but
ridiculous.
that would feed right into everything that Punk and Drew have been doing, because all of the stuff have been callbacks. Everything's
Yeah.
been social media. Everything has been like interpersonal between the two of them. Calling back to something like that from 10 years.
Did you see
Perfect.
Drew's post on social media this week about leaving?
Just walking out the door?
WWE HQ?
I saw that. I thought that was pretty
So
good.
that's why I will
Okay.
predict that Drew
Yeah.
McIntyre wins. I think that Finn and JD cost Damien in some way during the match, which then teases more of the Judgment Day breakup
Yep.
and more for Liv to sneak in and take over Judgment Day.
Yep.
Drew wins the title. Drew waves the Punk out through the crowd.
Okay, I like what you're saying, and I wouldn't mind seeing it. However, I don't think that's what's going to happen. I think it's the other way. So I think Damien is actually going to defend, but it will be from shenanigans from our mate, Chicago Made.
Yep.
However, yes, he will. I agree with you. He'll say, "I'll see you in Scotland." But what actually happens during the match is that his music hits, and Drew obviously turns around and goes, "Come on, I'm ready for you." But CM Punk doesn't actually come out. He just plays his music. That gives Damien the opportunity to win the match, gets the win, and then Punk comes out somewhere in the crowd or on the ramp after the match, because I feel like you can't play his music and then not have him appear in another country, because
Yeah.
the crowd probably get pissed off.
Yep.
And that sets up down the line. I know it's still a while away, but I think SummerSlam, we still want to see Drew versus Punk. No title. It's not needed.
But then who does
now,
Damien?
Yeah, I know you
Yeah,
said
yeah.
this because you're like Damien versus
Gunther.
Who cares? Someone's going to have a Money in the Bank that they're going to cash in, and they've got to do Gunther a favor, because Gunther did them a favor at WrestleMania to win the Intercontinental title. Sammy will be champion, and he's going to drop it to Gunther at SummerSlam. So Gunther will be your World
you-
Heavyweight champion.
Okay,
Transitional champion Sammy.
Yeah, here's my thing. You guys are so all about Sami Zayn, and you're really going to dog him like that. His first ever main title run, and it's going to be, a few weeks.
Because that's what happens to Sammy. That's his character, is he does win, but he can't hold on to it. That is because he is that quintessential. He's really got to work hard for it. And he's that, because when you look at him, right, we know he's one of the best inside those ropes. But in terms of how he looks, he doesn't look like a champion. He looks like a regular everyday Joe. So more than likely he'll win, but he won't hold on to it for a long time. He is like, I don't want to call it transitional because he deserves to win it, but he's not a poster boy. There's nowhere near that he's a poster boy champion.
I don't disagree with Ted.
Right? And I
Unfortunately.
hate saying that because I love Sammy. He is one of my absolute favourites. But who wouldn't want to see, now that you've seen what they did at WrestleMania, who would not want to see Sammy versus Gunther for that title?
Well, just before you tell your side of the story,
I would not be against that at all.
can I just pitch an idea? What if Sammy retains the IC title and it's
still wins Money in the Bank?
No, but he doesn't win Money in the Bank. El Generico does.
That would be cool. I like that idea.
It's done.
I like that idea.
And then
leaving.
then you have Sami Zayn versus whoever, and El Generico just has to
Cashes
bring
in. Oh, that would be funny. No, look, I mean, what do you think? Because you said that you think that Drew will win. Was that you? Or
No.
did you
I
Damien?
said Drew's going to get cost the
Sorry,
victory
cost by
Punk.
CM Punk. Yeah. Okay.
Do you reckon it's the music thing, or do you reckon Punk
do you reckon Punk actually
gets involved?
physically gets involved?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
It's going to be a throwback to what happened after WrestleMania.
Yeah.
And
I reckon Punk's
Do
fit.
you think to
Yeah.
try and tie it over to SummerSlam, because we still got a little bit of time until it, because you got Money in the Bank in between.
yeah.
Yeah.
Do you think that CM Punk does attack and they do a kayfabe injury to Drew that takes him out of action until SummerSlam?
Oh,
Well,
so
he's
then-
still, like, even on Raw, like, he's cleared the rest of it, but he's still got his elbow wrapped up.
Yeah, so but what I mean
you-
is
you
like
could work that a
make
little
it,
bit.
They make it out that it's a proper injury and he can't wrestle, and so that way they can hold them off screen. Well, not off screen, but out of the ring until a little bit further down the track.
Because that SummerSlam payoff, like, that's where it needs
Huge.
to be.
Huge.
Yep. Okay.
Needs to be there.
If it doesn't open SummerSlam, it should close SummerSlam. Like, it's got to be one or the other. Seriously,
it's
I'm saying.
not closing SummerSlam.
Well, it's got to open then, because everyone is pining for CM Punk versus Drew McIntyre,
Okay.
and it doesn't need a belt. It does. I'm sorry, but it doesn't need it. Like, people are going to watch
do you
it.
think
whether or
it's
not there's a
of
belt.
that caliber that it's going to go on after both champions?
No.
No, not quite. But maybe. We'll see what they cook in the meantime.
You never know.
Unless
Well, that's
Drew
our
is the
predictions for Clash of the Castle and our roundup for the week. Let us know what you thought of NXT Battleground, and if you watched the 20th anniversary of TNA, if you were watching it through one of the streamers, or if you watched it in person. What do you think? Is Ricochet really going to go to AEW? Is Penta on his way to WWE? We're doing a bit of a swaps. And what did you think of our predictions for Clash of the Castle?
Let us know. Comment down below. Comment on TikTok.
Is CM
Comment on
Punk gonna be
YouTube.
there?
Instagram.
Yeah, everywhere.
All social media platforms.
Check out my terrible tier lists on TikTok. The boys forced
Rating
me to do it.
Undertaker at number 10.
Oh, controversy. Thank you for joining us here in Madison Square Garage around the pool table of relevancy. Thank you, Mr. Daniel. You're
most welcome.
Thank you, Rowdy
Thank you,
Reece.
Ted.
I am Booker Ted. Thanks for joining us here, and we will see you at the next episode. Scissor me, Teddy! Too sweet, scissor.